All right, what time do you guys do the tours?
Oh, it would be 9:15. That's your tour guide, Miss
Oh,
June. So
cool,
she
cool.
will take you there.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Have a good day.
100. The, the convento wing was added around that time, 1800.
So does it still function today as
Oh
a?
yeah, it's a working church.
Oh wow, okay,
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
the only one left of the Kino missions, the Jesuit missions, that
Mhm.
still function as a church
Wow.
here in Arizona. But in Mexico, there are 7. Okay, but you can sit down anywhere.
Thank you.
I'll just introduce myself. I'm Judith Tracy, and the docents here represent Patronato. Patronato is a non-sectarian, non-profit organization, came together in 1978 by a group of concerned community leaders in Tucson. They were concerned about the deterioration of the structures. Patronato's sole purpose is the conservation and preservation of this cultural icon. It's the oldest continuous European structure in Arizona and the finest example of Spanish colonial architecture in the United States. It was granted national landmark status in 1963. And in 2015, it was placed on the World Monuments Fund watch list for endangered heritage sites.
Wow.
The tour stays outside. Here, obviously, we're being here. We're going over to a model when I talk about the church, so you can see everything in front of you. And then we go out in the front and we look at the facade. We don't go inside the church. It's a working church, so we have to be mindful of the people who are worshiping. But I'm going to give you a brochure, and it will be pretty much self-guided inside
Okay.
the church. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. So we're going to look at the people who were here then and are still here. They are the Tono Odom. Tono Odom means desert people. They've been on this land for more than 4,000 years. This is their ancestral homeland, and they consider it sacred. They're believed to be descended from the prehistoric Hohokam. The Hohokam was an agricultural civilization, and they built an extensive canal system where the crops were raised. The Tono Odom, like their ancestors, are also farmers. They farm corn, beans, and squash. Therefore, water is essential to maintaining the way of life. Villages were always along the banks of rivers, as was this one. This was originally a mile north and a little east along the banks of the Santa Cruz. The Santa Cruz River now is just a wash. But unlike today, rivers flow 10 months of the year. But this is a long established culture and belief system. And, a very important part of their belief system is the man in the maze. What you're looking at here is a journey of life. It says that your life will take many turns and you will have many decisions to make. Some will be good and some not so good. But hopefully in the end you'll find peace and tranquility, and that's the dot in the center. The Tono Odom Nation is the second largest Indian-owned land in the United States. They own a little under 3 million acres, and it's on 4 land masses, though. This one, the San Javier District, another group in Florence, which is north and a little east of us, another group outside of Phoenix. But the capital of their nation is in Sells. Sells is west of us by about 50 miles. They're a nation, so they have their own government, and that government resides in Sells. Any communication they have with Congress is handled through Sells.
Wow, dang. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's pretty wild.
It is.
In the United States too, okay.
Right, yeah, they have their own government. They have their own elections.
They probably have their own money too, right? Or currency?
I don't know. Well, they own a casino. They have a
Oh,
casino.
yeah, okay.
Otherwise, they really have no other income
Okay.
other than what they do, for a living. Like, there are about 33,000 Tono Odom now. The Tono Odom had heard about Father Kino and his respect for indigenous people. He had learned their language, and he protected them from exploitation, from working as slaves in the silver mines that were established by the Spanish. So they invited him here. In 1692, Father Eusebio Francisco Kino came into this village. The village had approximately 800 villagers. Father Kino was an Italian, born in Segno, Italy, which is the northeastern part of the country, but he was educated in Austria. He became a Jesuit missionary who wanted to go east to Asia. Instead, he was sent west to Mexico. He came in at Veracruz. He worked his way north, And as he worked his way north, he established 24 missions. San Javier is the farthest north. The area became known as New Spain. When you hear the word mission, you automatically think of the church, but that wasn't the case. Father Kino's mission was to convert the native people to Christianity so that they could become subjects of Spain and pay taxes.
Wow.
What they
Okay.
thought they were paying taxes on, who knows? But that was the Spanish ground. If there was a church here when Father Kino was here, probably looked like one of the Ramadas that you see out in front of the church. The first actual church came about in 1756 when another Jesuit, Father Espinoza, built the first it's a sun-dried adobe church. And its remains are still here. They're out behind the mortuary chapel, where we have no access to that. In 1767, Spain recalled the Jesuits. They accused the Jesuits of standing up for Indian rights and protecting the Indians, which wasn't the reason they were sent here in the first place. So they called them all back to Spain. For the Spanish crown, it was all about God, gold, and glory, and they weren't getting much of that from the Jesuits, so back they all went. Even the ones born here had to go to Spain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The following year, 1768, Spain sent the Franciscans. So this church was actually built by the Franciscans.
Oh, okay. We have the Franciscans over in Washington. There's like a hospital franchise for them. Yeah, Franciscan Healthcare, St. Joe's Hospital. It's like a whole thing over there.
Is that right? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, but they also built all that whole extensive mission system within California.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But this is older. This was all done before that. This church was begun in 1783, and it was completed in 1797. And its double walls are fired adobe, about like this, and in the center are rocks. Father Valderrain, who supervised the building here, had developed a technique for firing bricks. He built a kiln down the road where the bricks were made. The limestone, which is the white exterior, came from a local quarry. Now they use the same bricks, but now the bricks are made in Mexico. And because it has the same composition as the bricks had here.
To keep it authentic.
To keep it, it has to be compatible if you're adding something to this church. Well, we can go out before, and we can take a look at the model as I explained to you about the church itself. So, well, I'll leave this here. This is sun-dried adobe. They believed to be from the Espinoza Church, from the old one from 1756. The adobe is really nothing more than sand and dirt. It has straw added to it. And they add water, put it in a mold, stick it out in the sun, and the sun does its thing.
Bakes it.
Yeah, bakes it. But fired adobe, which was made in the kiln, Father Valderrain added a local ingredient. He added prickly pear juice. This is the binder, and it helps cure the limestone. And you can see them.
I wonder how he thought about that. Maybe like the citric acid in it? That's crazy, yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even know how he found that out. But there is, if you want to see the difference, the sun-dried adobe, if you go into this museum room at some point, they left a portion of the wall uncovered so that you can see what the whole structure is made from. That's sun-dried. That's fired adobe.
Oh, fired adobe.
Sun-dried, and the other is fired.
Oh, okay. Real cool.
Okay, we're going to go over here and take a look at the church. Okay, here we are. The whole complex is on 11 acres on Tohono O'odham land. The church, as you see here, is in the shape of a Latin cross. You can see that here.
Wow.
Spanish architecture has Islamic influences because of the 800 years the Moors governed Spain. This church has Islamic influences. The most prominent are the domes.
Yeah, and even the tops right there, the cuts on the top. That's really
Yes,
cool.
yep, that, and a lot of arches, as you can see. Inside the church, you'll see all the big arches. There, the high center dome is on an 8-sided frame called a drum. And its placement is directly over the prayer center, same as it is in a mosque. The 8-sided bell towers, they're also Islamic. And you can see that in mosques in the Mideast even to today. The railing that you see there all around the outside, that's also Islamic. And although they don't have it here, they had finials. That's not on this model. The finials are also Islamic. There's no dome on that bell tower. There never was a dome. And there's never going to be a dome. It was a variety of reasons given, but really it was as simple as they ran out of money. Spain didn't give any money to build it. The money that was used to build this came from donations from local ranchers. And when the donations ran out, that was it. There was no more.
Dang.
So the church was left unfinished. And if it wasn't there, they're not going to add anything to it. So you actually have the original church. This is the mortuary chapel. It was built at the same time as the church. And there's a cemetery in front of it. And the reason they know it's a cemetery, there's one small tombstone left. As you're going into the chapel to the right, it's against the wall. They have no idea who's buried there, but it's going to stay that way. This here is the friary. That's here. It hooks around the back. That was built in the 1900s. It's for priests and brothers, and there's still 3 priests here and 3 brothers. This is this convento wing where we started. We're about a third of the way in. Convento or convent generally means a residence for nuns and or priests, and it was both. So where we started was actually residences.
Oh, wow.
And that was built in the 1800s.
And they're still being used today for residences?
No, now it's offices.
Offices, okay.
This wing here was added also in the 1900s. This one has a couple of classrooms, a resident convento wing where we started to go through renovations. They have to really shore up the foundation. The foundations are in bad shape. Here, it's a courtyard now, but this was the original corral. It's where the cattle and the horses were kept.
Oh, wow.
Here. Because there was a fencing along here. They didn't, when they added this, they took the fencing down, obviously.
What's the story with, since this is the front, and then there was the hill with the cross at the top?
Yeah, that's not part of the mission.
Oh, that's not? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was part of the mission. Okay.
No, everybody does. I mean, there's a connection now, but it's owned by, I don't know, some guy bought the property from the Indians and he put a cross up there.
Oh, so it probably came modern
It was a long
in sense.
time
Yeah.
ago.
Okay.
But he also built a grotto. So if you're going to walk up, it's really interesting. You can walk up the hill, go through the lions to the left. There is a grotto on the side of it. I think it's really for St. Bernadette. Oh, well, let me explain to you. The architecture for the church is Baroque. It is ultra Baroque or Churrigueresque, which is a type of Spanish Baroque. And in keeping with Baroque, it's a very highly ornamented church. Not just on the exterior, but far more so on the interior. And another thing is everything has to be in balance. So if you have a painting on this wall, you have a painting on that wall, you have a statue here, a statue there. When you go into the church, you will see that everything on one side has a corresponding same on the other. And that includes also the doors. This is the west courtyard here. There's an actual door here. So when you go in, that's the one you're going to use. When you walk into the church, you're facing the opposite wall. There was nowhere for them to put a door, so they painted one. So you'll see a painted door. That's the reason. It just satisfies their Baroque sensibilities, I guess. When you walk, you're coming into the side, but when you turn to go to the back side of the church, there is a small room. It faces actually the back of the church. That's the original baptistry.
Oh, okay.
You'll see it has the original baptismal font from 1756 from the Espinosa Church. And it's also unfinished. It's unfinished for the same reason that there was no bell tower. So if anything is unfinished, if they didn't know what was there, they're going to leave it just that way. As you walk down the center aisle, you'll get to the west transept. This is the west transept, and this is the east transept. In the west transept, you will see a recumbent statue of St. Francis Xavier, St. Xavier. There is a practice here that it would pin milagros to his clothing. Milagro means miracle, so if you're praying for something or thanking for something, you get the appropriate item and you pin it onto the cloth. Prior to the pandemic, he was all open. With the beginning of the pandemic, they enclosed him in glass. So they now have strung, you'll see a white sheet underneath it, and the milagros are now being pinned to the sheet. As you walk forward towards the altar rail, you will see two lions on either side. The lions are guardians and they stand for the Spanish crown. These are not the original ones. The original ones were stolen in 1982. And Gloria Giffords, who is Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords' mother, is a well-known restorer. Gloria took pictures of the animals to a company in Mexico that made animals for carousels. They made the lions, shipped them to her studio here. She finished them and then donated them to the church.
That's cool.
See if there's anything else. Oh, when you walk in, you will see simulated tiles on the wall. They are called dados, and they are Islamic. They have been overpainted. They're painted red, yellow, blue. When you look into the baptistry, where the baptismal font is, you will see what the tiles were supposed to look like. They're very muted. Some well-meaning artists in the 1950s thought he was doing what he called his restoration.
Oh, and change the colors completely then, huh?
Well, he overpainted them in oil. Not only did he overpaint them, he coated them with varnish. It turned them black.
Oh, wow, dang, yeah.
So the first major conservation was in 1991, when the chief art conservator for the Guggenheim Museum used his own funds to start the original conservation. The conservators came from Europe, and they're the same ones that worked on the conservation of the frescoes in the Sistine Chapel. They removed the varnish off, but left them the way you see them when you go inside the church. They left them that way. They didn't want to go any further. They were concerned that they didn't know the condition below that. So when you will see that when you go inside the church.
Okay.
They're a little bit dark, but they did take all the varnish.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I guess he was really well-meaning, but
A little too well-meaning.
The original ones were painted on with tempera, which is really an egg-based.
Oh, yeah.
But when he painted them over, he painted them with oil.
Yeah.
Totally wrong, but that's the way it is. So I'll explain the ceilings. They're very unique. Big beams going across here. They're called vigas. And the little pieces that you see across, laying down on top of it, they're a combination of saguaro ribs. And in this case, it's pine. Where we started the tour, that was all mesquite, but this is pine. To this part of the state, Phoenix has nothing like this. But if you go east through New Mexico and a little bit into western Texas. They have these ceilings. So we're going to go outside and we can talk about the facade. Oh, we're going to stop in the we have flags here. This is flag. Okay. These are the 4 flags that have or are still flying over the mission. We have the Spanish flag, rather the Mexican flag. This part of Arizona was Mexico. When this mission was founded, this was still Mexico. It didn't become part of the United States until 1853 with the Gadsden Purchase. So naturally, the Mexican flag was suitable. Over here is the Spanish flag. This is the Spanish flag at the time the mission was built. It depicts the 2 royal houses of Spain, Castile and Leon. Of course, the American flag. This is the Tono Odom flag. They're a nation, so they have their own flag.
Oh, this is the one we were telling me about out there. Okay.
They're a nation, so they have their own flag, and the 11 feathers on it stand for the 11 districts that make up the reservation. Okay, we're going to stand here. We're going to look at the front. We're looking at the tan section. The tan section is called a retablo. A retablo means a screen. This mimics the retablo mayor that you'll see inside the church. It's the screen behind the altar. All the characters are the same. We have 4 columns. They're not structural. They're merely decorative. But they do divide it into bays. Way up on the top, that big piece of stone, that's all that's left of a statue of St. Francis Xavier, St. Javier. The escutcheon below is the coat of arms of the Franciscans. IHS to the left is a symbol for Christ, and to the right is a symbol for Mary. And if you look close, the squirrely leaves up there, that's corn. And if you look closely, you can see squash blossoms, and grapes.
Oh yeah, I see the grapes. Wow, yeah.
That shows you the Native American connection to the earth and some of the crops that were being grown when the mission was built. The lions on either side stands for the Spanish crown. The big swirls on either side are called volutes. And if you look closely, on the left, there is a mouse.
Oh yeah.
And on this one, there is a cat. Legend has it that when the cat catches the mouse, the world comes to an end. So we don't have to worry about anything. The scalloped shell below is a symbol for pilgrimage, but also for St. James, who is the patron saint of Spain. And the rope that you see behind it, that's the cincture that goes around the Franciscans' habit. And when you go inside, you'll see that you can follow it around. It goes completely around the interior of the church, and it ends in tassels above the altar. So that if you had a tassel in each hand and pull it towards you, it's acts as if you were lassos, if you're bringing people into the church. We have 4 statues. They are 4 saints, and they're 4 women. That came as a bit of a surprise to me. The women, they're 4 women, and they're 4 statues, they're 4 martyrs, and they're 4 martyrs, and they are 4 saints. The one on the top left is St. Barbara. She's the patron saint of electricity, electricians, and field artillery. Below her is St. Catherine of Alexandria. She's the patron saint of attorneys, and the Catalina Mountains are named after her. On the top right, we have St. Cecilia, who's the patron saint of musicians. She's almost always shown with a musical instrument, and here she's holding a tambourine. Below her is St. Lucy. She's the patron saint of the blind. When she was being burned at the stake, someone said, look at the brightness in her eyes. And she said she pulled out her own eyes, and that's what she's holding in the dish. The whole front was very brightly painted. You can still see some remnants of paint. But what they're doing now is, at one point, this whole retablo has been coated with sandstone and some cement. What they're in the process of doing now is removing it. See, where you can see the sections that are whiter than the others. They have been working on that since last October. They stopped in March. Eventually, they're going to clean it off, all of it, and then repair the columns. And they've been in a process of replacing the balconies as well.
Yeah, the balconies look really good.
Yeah, well, this one still has to be repaired or replaced. But they're not going to do that until they've finished in this section of the church. The doors to the church are the original doors from 1797. The arch over it is a basket arch that was painted like a rainbow. And the rainbow is an indication of God's blessing.